Okay, so today what we'll see is again we will install HDP 2.5 Hortonworks distribution. So in the previous previous tutorial, basically we had gone through the installation of Cloudera on Google Cloud. Okay, so currently I just made them these three nodes up and running. Okay, we can connect to them and then restart our Cloudera manager, Cloudera agents on all the nodes, and then we can do the further process. So uh, we will try to do the things parallelly on both the distributions so that it will clear the differences between how to do where. Okay, so let's start with that. So again, what we'll do is we will create three instances and name them. So currently we have used US East, so we cannot use this further because in one region we cannot go over 100 GB of hard disk. Okay, so we need to select different region for installing our Hortonworks. Okay, so I will say create instance. And name it as HDP. I will say master 2, and we already had this thing, so we will pick some other zone. So let's pick Asia East A. Okay, the CPU, let's customize this. Let's have 2 CPU and maximum hard disk. Then we need to change the operating system to CentOS 6. Okay, rest everything, and yeah, so basically SSD standard persistent disk, let makes it 34. The other two slave 1 and slave 2 will make it 33. Okay, so the total would be 100. We are selecting CentOS operating system, then allowing both the traffics. Go to SSH keys, and we can now put the SSH key over here that we created in the last one. This is private, this would be okay, so actually this is CDHM2.
Mimant,
Yeah,
your last we missed it, so can you repeat, like, because it was just on mute. But after SSH key,
this one. Okay. This particular thing you want to clarify? Eklavya.
right?
Okay. Okay, see, what happens is when you create the instance on Google Cloud, okay, it will provide you a way to connect through SSH mostly. And here, what it says is we can provide the SSH key, though, that is the uh, private key of SSH. So we can generate it, and we can pass it on over here. Okay, so what we had done in the last attempt is we went to our SSH, sorry, puttigen, that is a utility that will allow us to create a public and private key pair on Windows. Okay, on different so on Linux operating system it is just like ssh keygen. Okay, so the command that we have seen. So if you run this on Windows and if you say generate, it will, and if you keep hovering your mouse over here, it will give you the so let me generate it, but we are not going to save it. Okay, so if you keep hovering your mouse over here, it will generate some randomness and generate a public and private key pair. Okay, so this is the public key this is the public key that is what you can copy from here. Okay, and this can be changed to the month 10, so that is already been done. Okay, uh, we already have created this in the last attempt, and we just replace this to be month 10 because this would be the user who will use this key to log in from our laptop to the that is the node that is running on Google Cloud. Okay, and so you can just copy this. If I change this to month 10, you will see that the last over here got changed to month 10, right? So then you can generate public private key pair. So sorry, it is already generated. You just need to save the private key of it. Okay, so this is the public key, and if you say the private key, you will have a pair of public and private key. So public key you need to paste over here, on this area, and then what will happen is that while making this particular node, while making this machine, what Google Cloud will do is Google Cloud will copy this public key from this entire, so over here, entire key data over here. Whatever public key will give over here will be copied into the authorized key folder of your SSH. Okay, so in SSH, that is secure shell, there are folders like known host, authorized keys, and these are like some main files, basically not folders, main files in which you will save the keys, and then that will allow those known hosts to get into your machine. Okay, so in the last attempt when we were trying, or we were building the Cloudera distribution 3-node cluster on Google Cloud, we already had done this process, and we had our public and private key pair already ready. So maybe let me just find it out where we had. Yeah, so this is that key. You can create on your own, just like just watching that video. Okay, so this is that key. I am going to copy it, and so this is the new key that I just tried to generate, but I'm not going to use it. So I just showed you how it can be generated. Okay, so you need to save this public key, uh, permanently somewhere, so that you can use it multiple times. Okay, because you don't need to create multiple private public key pairs just to log into Google Cloud. You can use a single key, that's not the issue. Okay, so I will just close this, and I will copy this and will put it here. So it will tell you that which user can be logged in using this public key, right? And the private key, what we already had saved over here, is a Google Cloud private key PPK. Okay, so this is just when you hit that button called save private key, it will ask you that what should be the name, and it will be automatically saved its private part of that key to be whatever name you will provide as .ppk. PPK means putty private key. So now this key can be used in order to log into the node that we are now creating. So I will show you. So public key we have provided here while creating the machine over here, and this private key we are going to use in order to log into that machine. Okay, so let's do that. So we have defined everything. Okay, CentOS 6, 2 core, 13 GB, and the zone is Asia East A, and this would be HDP, hot and rest distribution, HDP M2. That would be the master. Now I will create this. And now it is going to be created. Once it is getting created, we will get its public IP and private IP. So private IP is like kind of it's like incremental, and as we keep add on new and new machines, it will go further and further. So, okay, so what it says now, Okay, so it's the Asia East A VPN. Okay, so you see that this two internal IP, this one and that one, they both are same. Now it would be a big concern kind of thing basically. Oh no, not same. This is 142 and this is 140. Sorry, but I think since they are like on the Amazon, we can hit from each other. Okay, so this is 140, this is 140, so they are completely different. So this is the IP, public IP, so we can connect through it. So I will copy this, go to my putty, and put it here as we did for last time. Go to SSH, put authority, click authority and select this Google Cloud private key. That is Google Cloud private. So this is a private key and I will say open. It should be connected. And see it is connected. I will just try to put Miman 10. So then like we got into our machine. Okay, so this is how when we just created a machine and get into it. Now what we'll do is we can clone it. Okay, so because we require two more machines of this type, so I am going to click on clone. I selected CD HTTP M2. Now I will change the name of it HDP S1 slave 1. Rest everything will be same, but the amount of hard disk we need to make it 33 GB. Okay, select the SSH key again should be same for this. There is no change in it, so just create it now. And again go into this HDP M2 and clone it one more time. This time the name would be HTTP S2. And change this to 33 so that the total hard disk would be 100 GB, not more than that. We cannot have more than 100 GB of hard disk per region. Create it. So this is also running. This is also up and running. Now this is actually going to be created. Okay, and we can connect them individually because they all have one public key associated with them, and we do have its private key part with us. So we can connect any one of them, just like pick the public IP address of it, put it on putty, and go to SSH, select the AUTH, that is authorization, and select the private key for these SSH key pair, and you can easily log in. Now since we have already done this, let me close this one because it is from the other. So this is for Cloudera. Now here in this machine we are going to build the Hadoop Hortonworks distribution. Okay, HDP 2.5. So again we need to follow the same documentation just to make our nodes ready for the installation of Cloudera. Sorry, Hortonworks. So Cloudera. So this is the same documentation we can follow because this is just like the general documentation. You can do sudo check config all this over here on this one. Okay, so whichever services that is there will be automatically on and off. Okay, so check config, this network manager is automated way. network is manual way. So network manager will, it's a utility that will automatically assign IP addresses to all your what we say Ethernet cards. Okay, IP tables, IP6 tables, we already have gone through it. It's like the firewalls of Linux, so we need to keep them off. NTP and HDP we may need to keep them on, because NTP is network time protocol. It will sync the machine time with the whatever region server you are actually trying to point, right? So in whichever region you are running your machine, it will point to the local time server of that region and keep your machine time up and running, up and sync with that particular server. HTTP is again a utility or protocol, not protocol basically, it's a daemon that will up your local web browser, where you can host the local repository if you want. Okay, so we have seen that while building the pseudo cluster of Hortonworks on our local machine, we had our HTTP server up and running. We copied the local repository, keeping creating our local web host, local web repository, and we point our Umbrella installation to that. Okay, so but in this case, since we do have very fast internet available on our Google Cloud, so basically we will point to the remote repository of Hortonworks only. Okay, just like we have done for the Cloudera. Then we will do this, and see, this needs to be done on all the host that is there. Okay, so we can do SSH and do the things over there, right? So first we will make our, again, say Linux to be disabled. Copy this. In production also it is going to be disabled, so we need to be sudo so the Linux can take one of these three values, the control listed of Linux system. So Linux is again a kind of secure Linux kind of utility again, but then it is going to be stopped because you need to manage this on individual machine. That is very troublesome when you have thousands of nodes to be managed. Okay, so the whole security of Hadoop is like centralized through one particular machine. Okay, because the thing is, most of the components, most of the nodes, you are not going to allow it to be accessed by the public directly. Okay, so nobody can directly go to those machines and do the things. They need to route their request through some edge nodes. Okay, and then on edge node you can set up all the security firewalls and everything, so that only the authorized user can go into your Hadoop cluster. Then we may need to do this. So this is the sweepiness. We already had discussed that it is like the copying of the data from your RAM to your hard disk whenever a certain percentage of RAM gets filled up. Done. Okay, then we need to change the vi UTC host file. And you will see that every time when you restart the machine, there is one automated entry being put by the Google Cloud itself. So we just need to delete that. Okay, and we need to put our own. And this is done. This needs to be done every time when you restart your system. Okay, otherwise some of the daemons may get confused, because there are two mappings with the same internal IP address, that is the private IP address, right? So we now pick each of these, put it here, name them cdhm2.cluster.com. This is the domain that we are going to define, and we can make it cdhm2. So this is our so this is your fully qualified domain name FQDN, and this is your SQDN. So then we do have 3, and this is going to be your cdhs1 dot cluster cluster.com cdhs1. Then you have 4 cdhs2.
Mimant, but it should be Mimant.
Yes. Oh, sorry, my mistake. I'm sorry. It should be HDP. Thanks. Again, I mean, the name should be consistent HDP. Thanks for reminding me that. 2, 3, 4. Okay, got it. 2, 3, 4 HDP M2 S1 HDP S1 HDP S2 HDP S1 HDP M2. Okay. Now the same thing needs to be replicated on every host. So let's save this. Okay. Now we can just ping and try to check if it works. So I will say cdhm2 and it's pinging to itself. Then cdhs1. So it can ping on S1 and S2 also. Okay. So at least the machines are visible from this end. What we need to do is, once we say that, we need to generate our password for sshkeygen for Mimant 10. Okay, so once we generate this, we need to distribute that to. So let me do this. So now this is what we are actually. So this is the way you can generate your public and private key pair on Linux. On Windows we had puttygen. We use there in order to generate public and private key pair. So these are the different ways. Okay. So, but they do the same. They do the same thing. Okay. So now if you go to cd ssh do ll. So this is our private key and this is our public key, right? We need to put this public key on the authorized key files on every host, so that from this particular node we can do the passwordless SSH for Mimant 10 user, and it should not require any password. Okay, so let's do that. So what I will do, I will copy this, get it, and I will copy this thing. And put first I'm going to put this on the authorized keys of itself. Once it is done, we can do SSH on cdhm2 from same machine to the, sorry, not HDP. Keep me reminding because I got habitual of that. SSH HDP M2. If I try to do first time, it will ask, and let me exit out of it. Now if I do SSH on HDP M2, so without asking any password we could get in. Okay, so now same thing we need to do for the other HTTPS1 and HTTPS2. So we have this, so I need to go them individually at least for one time. I will pick this IP address, open putty, copy it here, go to SSH, select the authorization, browse the private key of Google, open it, log in with Mimant 10, open go to cd.ssh, sudo vi authorized key, correct, and make it bigger. And copy this one over there. Save it. Now try to do SSH from here. SSH EDHS1. Yes.
Uh, uh,
Sorry, my bad.
HDM1, HDS1.
Sorry. HTTPS1. So okay, it went in that. Now we can come out of it. Do again SSH HTTPS1. And yes, again we got passwordless SSH for me month 10 over here, right? So come out of it. Same thing we need to put, so I can close it now. I can just exit out of it. Do the same thing for the last one. Pick its public IP address, connect to it. Go to Google, private key, select open, non-10, then go to cd.ssh, sudo vi authorized keys, again copy this, paste it, save it, try again from HTTPS2, yes, and yes, we set up it. Okay, now once the passwordless SSH is done, we don't require now directly log into these slaves. Now once done this, let's install Ansible. So I will do sudo yum install Ansible. So Ansible is installed, so we can